Bonjour, viewers. It's me, Boof. I'm alongside the practice master, Riso. And we're here in ugly Britain instead of glorious America. Riso, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to be commentating Div 6, my former home, and where I won the championship last season. I know a lot of these racers, and this should be an exciting event.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. See, the thing I like most about this track is there's corner names, which are usually easier to remember than numbers, but I still don't know all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of which, what's your favorite corner?
Pops, because it sounds like corpse and you can die there.
Mine has to be Maggots and Beckett's. That's where I live. That's where I found my time.
Yes, yes. You cheated. That's two corners.
That's
Could
true.
be interpreted as an entire complex as well.
Yeah. My least favorite would be left field, without a doubt.
Is that the one that Clone Richie just went through?
I did not catch it. Possibly.
The one after the Wellington Strait.
Let me take a look here. It is right after Wellington and Brooklyn's, correct.
A long looping right. It's a tricky traction zone. You really lose a lot of time there.
All right, so we have a couple of drivers out on their outlap. To recap from last round, we have Ivory Lightning, who was our first place driver for Australia, then Clone Richie and Sung Jae at third place. It's going to be a competitive race once again, and we'll see what the outcome is.
Oh yes, yes. No, I'm not biased at all. Of course, the first job of the commentator is to say words. The second job is to be unbiased while saying those words. But I hope Williams win.
Oh, Williams is looking great in the overall Constructors' Championship. Currently first place with 160 points. Aston Martin right after them at 128, and McLaren at P3 with 119.
See, my current team leads last season's arch nemesis, leads my former team. It's very interesting. Ex-McLaren, I've moved every single season. Moved to Haas, moved to everything. Here's Clone Richie. He's on the mediums, which is an interesting strategy considering how likely I think an early safety car is.
Presumably, I'd imagine he's on the mediums just doing a couple of warm-up laps and waiting for the track evolution to come into place before doing his hot lap.
Yes. Hockey Rocks is dead. Died somewhere, was that turn 2? Gone into the wall, looks like. But
Rest in peace, Hockey Rocks.
Be dearly missed, but does get the benefit of choosing whatever tire he so desires.
On screen now is Mr. Hyde, the friend of our beloved Mahoney, going on a hot lap. Or is he on the in lap?
I think he's on the no. He's already posted a time, but he's still got his ERS going. Speaking of someone about to set a time, Clone Richie on the mediums. Where will he slot himself in? P2.
That is a strong lap.
Provisional pole. Goes into the grass to celebrate a little bit.
Yeah, to be within a few tenths of P1 on mediums is quite promising for Clone Richie.
Oh yeah, saw Trickfoot there taking a pretty wide line, but getting away with it through the final corner. Hooks it up nicely, across the line. It's a P5. And Clone Richie was in the voice chat earlier. I think we gave him a little bit of magic.
I think so too. I just hope we didn't give him the commentator's curse.
Oh, that remains to be seen for the race. Swajiggles. That's a nice name. Sung Jae, setting the fastest time. They were already on pole, weren't they? And they just went and improved by another couple tenths.
That sounds about right. We got Ivory Lightning, our previous race winner. About to start. Oh, he is currently sitting at P1 by 0.005 of a second. Oh, and ML Ruprath, this guy, he is the dark horse of this division. He is learning very quickly. He comes from normally racing on a pad, and his pad times are quite notable. They're comparable to Div 3, Div 4 times. And out of all these racers, he has a lot of potential, I'd say.
It was on
every
wheel
sing-
now.
He is on the wheel now. He's been grinding on that Thrustmaster.
Ooh,
Man,
yeah.
what an impressive time. 128.23 on
And
medium
that's
tires.
medium tires, 310s clear of the previous race's winner, Ivory Lightning. Reprath's, he surprised me. He showed up. I saw him in the eval races, and honestly left him for dead. But I think he's improved by quite a lot since then, putting in the hours.
Absolutely. I might be a little too early on this, but he might be the new Rizzo.
Ooh, he does have some competition. Who was that spent like 48 hours in voice chat?
Shizu. That would be the Div 5 god Shizu. Or is he Div 4? I forget.
No clue. But of course, Reprath has to climb up from the bottom division, Division 6. So higher to climb. Let's see. So just a rundown of the field as we see Zaffron. Is that how you pronounce that? Zaffron? Silent D. Put a little bit of an inflection on it. Let's see what time they get. We're on the final corner now. It's P11. No, it's P2. Didn't update.
Oh,
Just
this Alpine
just
is
shy.
looking strong. Looking strong. I'm very curious to see the times that Ruprath and Clone Richie could put up once they switch onto the softs. Those two are my current favorites. And close right after them it would be Irie Lightning and Sung Jae 13. It's going to be a tough race front grid today.
Clone Richie, speaking of, still on the medium tires, just goes fastest. 128.1.
Yep, he's probably on the lower end of the fuel run.
It's like trying to crane my neck, look at the steering wheel. Yeah, just half a lap of fuel remaining in that car. So going for a few consecutive laps. That's something that I've noticed about the medium tires. The undercut can be pretty powerful here, but the mediums take about a lap to get up to temperature. So maybe just putting in an extra lap, getting some heat in, and then really going for it the next time. Speaking of someone going for it on the mediums, here's Dark, the Red Bull driver, just joining us. Around, what's that corner name?
I will find out in just a second for you.
Well, I know this is Club right here. Through the Veil Chicane. Then Club.
I believe it's
E6
Stowe?
for Dark. Stowe.
Called Stowe,
That's right. Now I
Another
think
bit-
everyone's set a time. Can go down the running order currently. Clone Richie, of course, leading on 128.1 on the medium tires. Then Ruprath, Zaffron, Ivory Lightning, Sungjae, Oba Mendes, Dark, Trickfoot, Raymond, and Mr. Hyde rounding out the top 10 with Tenfana, old grandma right there. Vitona, Swajiggles, and Look, who joined us late.
Man
So
in the
I'm
McLaren.
hoping that they are keeping track of time. They don't give us the good old late join glitch.
So Luck, fun fact about Luck is he is from Brazil. He competed in Division 8 last season, and in the last 3 races, he pulled off consecutive wins or second place, finishing with a home win in Brazil. So he has a lot of potential. Also pushing his progress and his learning curve by taking off traction control, so he is looking to unlock even more speed. And yeah, he's on his hot lap. We'll see how it looks once he hits his hot lap.
Yes. I wonder if he's tired of all the puns involving his name and good fortune.
Probably doesn't get enough of it.
He's also only one letter away from being a very fast Division 1 driver from the Netherlands.
What if they're the same person?
Oh,
Oh, interesting.
Division 1 Luke would be like him on wheel, and now this is him on keyboard. He just goes straight back into the pits. He
Yep.
doesn't need a qualifying time.
Yeah, something must have happened. Maybe some damage, perhaps.
Hmm.
Swiggles
Maybe-
going on a hot lap.
So you go 6 seconds up on their first lap. Had to have been a spin there. On a bit wide on the apex on the entrance to club.
Oh,
But scoops it back up.
Ruprath is on a hot lap now. On soft tires.
Oh, now this should be good. Only up like what was that, 700ths of a second that flashed up on screen through the first sector.
I missed it.
Another thing around here, it gets very hot. When I think of Great Britain, I don't think of hot. I think of rain. But this track can get very, 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 very hot, and the soft tires just sort of stop working if it gets too hot. Through still.
You gotta watch out for your tire pressures. You gotta find the right balance. Oh, he takes this quite well. He's looking just pretty good.
Threading it through there like water. Goes fastest by quite a margin.
My goodness. He's ready for Div 1.
There he is. Come on, bring him on. An extra day of practice, and ooh, Zafran, I think that'll be an invalidation for that lap and the next. And yes, it will be. Very punishing running just slightly wide on the final corner, losing time hitting the sausage as well, but getting just both laps invalidated for it. But here's Grandma for the Williams team, bringing home... forgot what position she got last week. But hopefully it'll be even better this time. Around your least favorite corner, that was.
Left field.
Yeah.
The bane of my existence. Alright, we have Clone Richie going on a hot lap right now. He is on soft tires, and he's going to be looking to challenge Ruprath for pole position.
Be interesting to see how much time that they get through the first sector. Take some nice lines through here. Really meeting each apex, carrying a nice amount of speed. That's really what you got to do. Sector 1 has a flow to it. You really just got to hook it up 4/10 up on their lap time so far.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very key to be as smooth as possible, but quick on the throttle without losing too much traction.
On Richie. Could have taken that corner a bit tighter. May have gained him a few thousandths of a second. Here comes Cops.
Oh, he's within bounds.
Absolute commitment.
Looking good.
Maggots and Beck, it's just so mesmerizing to see just the weight transfer the car back and forth and running wide onto the grass there. He's done his homework. You wouldn't think that going on the grass is faster, but in that particular corner, yes, it is. Rusto not really threatening the apex too much, could run wide, has to back out of it a bit there.
Yeah, he definitely lost a few tenths within Sector 2. Question is the rest of the lap good?
One more corner, we'll find out. Down the Hamilton straight. He ends up losing time, I think, from just having to back out there. And I think he's going on another flyer here. We have a spinner, that's Trickfoot, without a front wing. We've had a hefty thwack into the wall. Lucky that they're still going. There's yellow flags in all sectors, as there's a Red Bull going slowly through Sector 1 now.
We got Sung Jae on the hot lap. Oh, Ivory Lightning just set a fast time. 121, 128.1.
It's taking P2 from Clone Richie for now. But I think Clone Richie might just be able to take that one back. If they can link together their lap. Sung Jae invalidating there, and Trickfoot taking a trip through the grass and hitting the... I think forgetting that they're without a front wing. Not braking quite as soon as they may have wanted to. Clone Richie invalidated on this lap as well, so frustration there. Yellow flags, only 2.5 minutes left. I don't think Clone Richie. It's going to be close to see whether or not he'll be able to get in the garage and back out in time for another hot lap. Oh, but Mendes also spinning off. No, once you heat up those rear tires, they just take so long to cool down, especially the softs, and you can see there that they'll just go around on you again and again and again. You just have to sit down and just baby the car around the circuit.
Yeah, it's almost better to go as slow as possible just to get your tires cool. But of course, once you hit a straight, you want to go as fast as possible. So use the wind to kind of cool everything down. But yeah, you got to be really tricky and careful on those turns once it's overheated.
So, Ivory Lightning take 2 goes
Might
wide.
have
I
just
think that will
invalidated.
be no, gets away with it. May have just lost a little bit of time, but does not suffer an invalidation. So I'll have another opportunity to improve that time. There's something I've noticed about that first sector is that users on a pad are actually seem to have a bit of an advantage going through that first sector. And wheel users usually get it back through this section. Maggots and Beckett's as Mr. Hyde goes, good friend of Mr. Mahoney, who I would normally be commentating this division with if everything went to plan, but he's busy with a woman, so shame on him. Well, let's see if Mr. Hyde can get a good improvement coming out of the final corner now. It's improvement to P6 128.5.
Well done.
Getting a
You
good
must be
pace
happy with that. We have D Zaffron on another hot lap right now. Currently sitting in P4. Let's see if he has the stones to take Cobbs at full speed. He does not lift. Oh, perhaps a little too tight on the steering there.
Very nice, very nice. Oh, we see Mr. Hyde. Must have just crashed coming through the first sector on an in lap. I hate to think that he would have retired on circuit. Oh, he retired on circuit. Someone call the cops. Get him out.
Is it due to DNF or did he just purposely retire on purpose?
According to Cookie, the voice in my head says that he just crossed the finish line, hit the retire. But that's for the stewards to figure out. That's not our territory. Here comes Zaffron running a bit wide there. Can he square it off? He can for a P2, 28.1. 5 thousandths ahead of Ivory Lightning, who is not on for an improvement for this lap.
Something to know about Zaffron, I think he could have broke 127s if he had nailed Sector 3 a little bit better, but he went off wide. They didn't invalidate the lap because I'd imagine he lost a lot of time on that. But yeah, it seems like he does have the raw pace to keep up with Rubrath. Clone Richie still needs to set his best time on the softs. But it looks like...
Oh.
Got Ivory Lightning on the hot lap.
Very least, these on-track retirements usually just slam dunk for the stewards, so even though it is another ticket to add to the pile for the weekend, usually just look at it. Oh, he did it. It's like a speeding in the pit lane, you know? You just look at a sensor. Did they break the speed limit? If so, slam dunk penalty. So Hockey Rock's the only person not able to set a time there, crashing coming out of the pits. Unfortunate there.
I'm curious to see what kind of strategies we'll see. Silverstone, definitely the most popular strategy is a one-stop. I am curious to see if anyone would want to start on the mediums and when the softs are going to pit. Would it be as early as lap 8, 9, perhaps 10? The softs do tend to fall off quite a bit towards the later end of the stint. So I'm very curious to see how everything will manifest.
Yeah, the more light-footed individuals could take their tires quite far. But first, the running order for the race, we have Ruprath on pole position, beating out Zaffron for the honors there. Ivory Lightning putting out P3. Clone Richie sticking to his times on the mediums, getting a P4. Sung Jae P5. Mr. Hyde Oba Mendes. Tanfana P8. Darkest P9 also on the mediums. Trickfoot P10. Then of everyone else, we have Rimmon in P11 for Alpine. Look, P12. Vitona. Got that one wrong at first. Vitona, P13 Swajiggles, P14 Hockey Rocks with no time. Said I wanted the Williams to do well. They crashed out. Commentators curse, perhaps. But as I was saying, yeah, the soft tires, the more light-footed individuals could take themselves all the way out to like lap 12 or 13 without losing too much time. But some people try to get a bit clever. You could come in as early as lap 6, lap 7, and get to the end. But those mediums will start to get a bit spicy near the end.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing to note here, Clone Richie in P3, starting on the medium tires. This could be a huge advantage if it's played out well. Obviously, he will be going for the overcut. My favorite to win this race will be Ruprath, but the big question for him is, can he keep it on the track? Can he maintain a certain level of consistency and pace throughout the entire race is the biggest question for him.
Yes, yes. I think we've also had a late joiner, Idle Wanderlust, who's going to be starting from the back after not participating in qualifying. So that grows our grid to, I think, 16 cars. The more the merrier, as I always say. And the more shambolic, the more likely a safety car is, which an early safety car would really throw a spanner into the works for those on the medium tires, those starting on the medium tires. Because you can't take the softs all the way to the end. The more light-footed individuals will be able to pit like lap 1 on a lap 1 safety car and just baby their mediums to the end. Most people will probably go for the safe option of the hards, though, I imagine. Just seconds away now from the start of the formation lap. I wonder if anyone's going to try to blitz off into the distance and win the formation lap. I've seen quite a few people can be cerebral on the formation lap. Of course, if you run into someone, that's a penalty, slam dunk. You're going to be starting with cold tires and probably get a time penalty as well. Idle Wanderlust has. Well, I'm just going to say that looks like a stalled car, but that also looks like a Mercedes that's very bouncy. Some mechanical problems on the grid there. Probably going to get disqualified any time now and just have to start with the cold tires. But doesn't look like anyone's really running away with this formation lap. The top 3 actually, though, sticking quite close to each other and breaking away from the pack. Clone Richie gets disqualified, presumably for contact there, or maybe trying to cut the track. But that's both Mercedes are going to be starting on very cold tires.
That's going to hurt, especially Clone Richie, because he is on medium tires. So if those guys are cold, he might lose a few positions right on the set a race start, that is.
Yeah, the difference between starting on soft and mediums is usually one position. You usually come off one position worse on the mediums than if you were to start on the softs. But with cold mediums, that's probably. I wouldn't be surprised to see him slide all the way out of the points by the end of the first lap.
Yeah, we'll see how detrimental it is. It's unfortunate because the key thing here is if you're starting on mediums, you want to do your best to stay within that DRS train so you can go for that long run and put yourself in a position to succeed.
Right. Well, here comes the runners.
Top 10 looks very competitive. I'm looking at Oba Mendez, Mr. Hyde, Sung Jae. I think they could definitely make a push for podium positions if they keep it consistent. And a lot of newcomers who I know for a fact have been practicing a lot. And who knows? Anything could happen.
I don't want Wanderlust car getting pushed unceremoniously aside. I wonder if that's going to be their all race.
He's going to have to disconnect and rejoin. So for those who are not aware, there is I guess we could classify it as a desync bug, where essentially at the race start, Idle Wanderlust is going to go off on his own to do his own lap. But in the meantime, he should be trying to reconnect.
Everyone's just sitting here. If this was real life F1, you'd have to worry about the tires cooling down and the engines warming up and the brakes as well, but I don't think that the game really simulates that by sitting still. So this Idle's going to be trying to reconnect, I guess. Unfortunate, going to have to, as luck has left, I think this might be a re-lobby. Yeah. Confirmation from Space Ghost. Going to be doing a re-lobby here. As there we go, Idle Wanderlust does get off on his formation lap there. That's going to delay the start of this race by a little bit. They're going to have to manually reset the grid. So that feeling of anticipation, that anxiety surrounding that start of the race, it's just going to continue to stew. Maybe some people will be able to calm themselves down. Maybe some people will just be sitting there anxiously thinking about their start. Some people will cool down. Some people, myself included, I got to be warmed up to do well. I take a few laps to warm up. In a situation like this will just let me cool down a bit. Might be a bit slow for the first couple laps. But hopefully, we'll be able to get this lobby back up in short order. In the meantime, what do we do? Hey. Okay.
We'll take a quick break, and meanwhile, you could check out some of the other races. But yeah, I'm gonna sign off now, Booth. It was a pleasure commentating with you. It was my first time, and hope to do it more again in the future.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Good luck.
Goodbye, Mr. Riso. Love you.
Love you too, man.
Bonjour, welcome back. Hopefully this time everyone will get off the grid A-OK. For our second formation lap, if this was real life, we'd be shortening the race by 1 lap.
Looks
Not
like
so
they're all
here.
away okay.
Yeah, looks like everyone has gotten away okay. Otto Wanderlust has turned coat, is no longer a Mercedes driver, is now Ferrari.
It's going to be interesting. Who does he drive for normally?
It might actually be Ferrari. He just joined. Check real quick. No, yeah, he is usually a Ferrari. Just joined as a
Of
Mercedes.
course, he was a late joiner, so he probably got pushed into the Mercedes.
Ah, yes. But
It'll be interesting. The soft runners now have a little bit more of an advantage. Obviously, those tyres have had those laps in quali taken off of them because of the relobby.
Ah, yes. And normally they'd start to fall off like immediately, like lap 3. They hit their peak lap 2 normally. Lap 3 they're like immediately 2 or 3 tenths a lap slower. So they might get 3 or 4 laps instead of optimum pace before they start to fall off.
All depends on how hard they push around this formation lap, I guess.
Yeah. The easiest way to warm up your tires is just to go fast on a formation lap. No need for weaving.
I can't see anyone taking the hards today. In all of the practice races I've been in with some of these guys where they've tried hards, they've really, really struggled.
Yeah. Some might panic and go onto the hards if there's a really early safety car, like lap 1 safety car. But the mediums can go to the end. They'd be altogether the better option than the hards. It's pretty easy to get tripped up in the moment. You panic and dive into the pits with an early safety car, and you just say, just go for this, just go for the safe option, go for the hards, and hope that you get an opportunity later on to no longer be on the hards. Predicted pit stop strategy: soft to medium. Don't bother with the hards if it's a normal race. Gonna be stopping anywhere between lap 6 and lap 12 under normal conditions. But here we go. Idle Wanderlust pulling up to the final grid slot, and we're about to get ready to go racing. I've been waiting all off season to belt one of these out. We wait in anticipation for the lights to come on. There they are. So beautiful. 5. Look but never stare. Boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys. After a long hold there, Ruprath gets a poor start, and Ivory Lightning's immediately alongside. It's a 3 wide into the first corner. Surely this will end in tears. No, Ruprath. Ooh, bangs wheels with Zaffron. Zaffron looks like he's got the best start. Ivory Lightning just pulling out just for the moment, but Zaffron braking early. Gonna give Ivory Lightning the chance to go around the outside. Sung Jae has gained a position off the start, and there's contact at the back. I think there's a few cars around. That's Vitona around. And look who's gone off the track, rejoining now. And
I was about to say it was great that they'd all gotten through turn 1, 2, 3 successfully, and then we had the Red Bull make contact with the McLaren, I believe, and just spun him around.
Yeah, it looks like 4 people coming off quite unfortunately through the first corners. Someone who's fared fairly well in the first lap. There's Hockey Rocks starting like P15. It's already to P8. So a good start there for the Williams, making up for the poor qualifying. Oba Mendes, P10. Idle Wanderlust has made his way up from P16 to P11, just outside the points here. Hockey Rock's going very wide there. Might give Mr. Hyde a chance if he dares to give it a chance into Mackens Beckett's. Here we go, but backing out at the last second.
With all that distraction at the back with the spin, we missed Ruprath managing to make his way back up to P1. That was an awful start. He lost 2 or 3 car lengths, and somehow he's managed to muscle his way back in, and he's pulling out.
There he goes. Ivory Lightning also getting a good start past Zaffron. Sung Jae up a position. Clone Richie on the mediums losing a position. But Oba Mendes and Mr. Hyde still going at it here. Mendes, Mr. Hyde's wide, invites Oba Mendes in for a look. But in the end, he's just going to back out. Mr. Hyde still defending the inside quite hard. Oba Mendes is just looking for a position, looking for a place to go around him. As looking out of Wanderlust are battling behind. Oba Mendes just swooping around the outside like a hawk. Takes that position like a hawk would take a rabbit off the ground to go eat it. But now we have a look. Not a Wanderlust going at it, hammer and tongs. And out of the first sector. And Mr. Hyde, I mentioned earlier, Mr. Hyde had gotten a great start there, but I think he may have just had a spin going through turn 1 or 2. And look Ooh, swoops up the inside, round the outside now of left field. Out of Wonderlust is going to try to fight this one back, square it off, get the acceleration going. Man, are they going to try it side by side? No side by side through cops this time around.
Critically up the front, Ruprath's now broken the DRS, so he won't have a train forming behind him. It's whether he can keep it there.
Ruprath looking to make, like myself in the Spain PC2 division, PC2 season 3 rather, take pole position and run away with it early on. But he'll be looking for similar fortunes here. Doing well so far, already broken out a bit of a gap, as you said, 1.6 seconds. Zaffron hanging on to Ivory Lightning's DRS, as it will be enabled this lap.
As the race goes on, we should see the field sort of coalesce into groups. The DRS is so powerful, we should see a few little trains form.
Yeah, something to the tune, I believe it's about 7/10 a lap. But weirdly enough, it's not the easiest thing to overtake around here. Because the Wellington's just not quite long enough. I say that, Sung Jae. Oh, but Zaffron gets the DRS just barely in front of him, and I think that's what prevented the overtake. Sung Jae, though, having a look. But nothing quite coming off there. But as I was saying, Maggots and Beckett's, it's hard to follow through there. You get the concertina a bit, and also dirty air.
It's really interesting because
I
drive on a pad and I find it easier to follow people through Maggots and Beckett's because it gives me an easier sighting point as to when to do the turns.
A nice little reference point up ahead, yeah. But here we go through the aforementioned Maggots and Beckett's. Let's see if the gaps widen up any. Not really. Sung Jae losing maybe a few hundredths. This Switjiggles.
Good drive.
Ooh, Switjiggles just having to get out of it to avoid Vitona there. Got very wide on their medium tires. Trying to back out and to not pick up a penalty, but Mr. Hyde going to be looking to come back through the field here. P16 going to look to charge back through the field, back to where maybe he feels he belongs. Zaffron breaks the penalty duck. Picks up the first one of the race there. 3 seconds for him in P3.
He was probably risking it a little bit because it was critically important. He was right on the bubble of losing the DRS.
Yes, he was. Ooh, big sin from Idle Wanderlust, and he just no chance of slowing that one down. Goes off in the gravel, and he might end up losing a position here to Vitona. And indeed he does down the Hamilton straight now. Losing that position, going for one and losing one instead. That's a big sin. Chance of losing another one here as Mr. Hyde has already made an overtake on Switjiggles. Looking around the outside of Idle Wanderlust. If he can keep the outside here, he'll have the inside, but ooh, he gets it all wrong on traction. And the Ferrari and the Ferrari-powered car go around.
He just got a little bit of a swapper on and couldn't recover it. Ended up in the side of him.
Yeah, I think that's where he lost it the first time. After he had that beautiful little battle with who was it? Was it Hockey Rocks he was battling with? And then had a bit of a spin.
Zaffron's been all over the track just trying to keep up with Ivory Lightning.
He's doing a good job within 3/10 here and might actually have a chance as we go through the hangar straight. Gonna look around the outside and gets it done before we even get there.
Yeah, Lightning's been playing it cleverly though. The last few laps he's been charging up that ERS, making sure that he's got enough battery to fight back. Zaffron's been using his just to keep himself in that DRS window, so it'll be curious to see whether or not Zaffron's got the pace now.
Yes, indeed. Further down the field, Tanfrena making a move on Rimmon under the DRS zone, moving herself up to P6 momentarily. I think that's her spinning off in the background there. That's Hockey Rocks, rather, the other Williams, who's had a great start. Was up to something like P8 from starting at the back of the grid. He's now going to find himself spiraling back down the grid. So a lot of mistakes early on, a lot of mistakes on power, and just trying to get the power down too early. A lot of spins. Bonjour, Mr. Fraser, a man of much experience, and the Division 1 champion of Season 3.
Hello. I'll assume I will take over once you guys are going, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Yep. Okay. Any shambles that have happened? I just saw on stream like there were a couple of like traction problems some people had, but I think it shapes up to be an interesting race, definitely with all the spins that we have at the moment. So yeah, quite good. It's going to be quite an interesting race, I would assume.
Yeah, and we see Zafran getting back past Ivory Lightning with the DRS there again, and trick foot spinning. Puts a wheel on the grass, spins again. Try one more time.
Just being patient. He's not overcommitting himself at this point. You can see Zafran's got the penalty. I think he's just happy to share the DRS.
Absolutely, but Zafran, I think, is starting to become a bit of a cork in the bottle here because Sungjae and Clone Richie catching right up there through the Vale chicane. But I think you're right, just Ivory Lightning just playing it safe, knowing that Rupreath has the pace to just run away with this one and saying, right, I'll have P2, and I'll let you push very, very hard, let you do all the work, I'll reap the benefits, because he's on a 100% ERS as we come onto the Wellington Straight. He's not using any. He's very content to just sit here and reap the rewards.
Maybe he's forgotten it exists.
Now, maybe Ivory Lightning is also playing the long game, since if you tend to fight with the car in front that has no DRS, you tend to lose to the car in first, like the car that's disconnected to the DRS train. So maybe Ivory Lightning is thinking to himself as well, so hey, let's not fight this too much, let's try to catch up to Riprath, but Riprath seems to have quite a bit of pace going on as Zafran goes wide in cops for like the third time, I believe.
Yeah,
so yeah, maybe Ivory Lightning is just playing the long game, see if Zafran has the pace to catch up to Riprath here.
Zafran's has lost about a second so far in this lap, but I think you're right. Maybe Ivory Lightning just reserving himself, saying, not much of a chance I'll catch up at this stage. As we see Look and Tanfana going at it. Tanfana giving Look no space at all. Gonna look to the outside here and goes around the outside and does indeed. Riprath sets another fastest lap of the race. That's P7 there for Look.
Up front, just as we switched, we had Clone Richie do a dive bomb on Ivory Lightning, trying to get up the inside of the hairpin down Club. Managed to resist the move, and Clone Richie lost a lot of traction and lost place to Sungjae?
Sungjae? I believe it is. Yeah, Sungjae may have just been playing a bit of... I believe Clone Richie was behind Sungjae, or maybe he had just made the move. As Dark now is looking to get past Tanfana. And Tanfana says, no, I've got the exit. You just have to let me get away. But Sungjae now becoming disconnected from that DRS train up ahead. Clone Richie should have a chance to get past.
Someone to look out for as well, Open Mendes, we just saw briefly on stream, going into the pits on lap 7 from those softs on those mediums, so maybe they are trying to hope for a undercut right here. Undercut is quite strong, since mediums tend to be faster than the softs around here, especially in those late stages, or not those late stages, but the softs tend to lap around at least with diff 130, as we see on stream right now. Clone Richie going for the moves, the mediums having a bit more grip through maggots and backets, and then it's just an easy pick to, or the easy move to complete down Stowe. So yeah, like the undercut is going to be quite strong around here, so we need to watch out for Obe Mendes and any other soft runners that might pit around now or like in one lap.
I'm surprised after that move last lap that Ivory Lightning didn't push to get past Zafran. I was going to say previously, when you had the big train, there's no point in putting yourself at the front of that train, because you're then just wasting your ERS to help everyone else speed up. I thought once they were a pair, he would probably try the move, but looks like he didn't, and now Clone Richie's going to be able to get right on the back of them again.
Discretion, the better part of valor here, but perhaps too much discretion from Ivory Lightning, just playing it a bit too cautiously. Still on like completely full ERS. But I think at this stage, I think he has enough pace to just break away from Zafran if he gets it into Stowe. And,
if only you could see in the cockpit and see how close Zafran was to the end of his ERS. Because I don't think Zafran would be able to fight back.
And also, like, talk about Ivory Lightning and Zafran in that fight. Ivory Lightning tends to stick quite close, as we see as for Jiggles here, going really, really wide turn 2, turn 3 actually, and then into turn 4 quite a bit deep, letting those other cars pass, so quite nice to see that they are paying attention to the on-track action. What I was going to say is Zafran obviously a bit more lacking on pace, Ivory Lightning always on the diffuser of the car in front, as we see Ivory Lightning also going for the move into the Vale chicane, a bit of wheel banging there as well. But oh yeah, Saffron catching a bit of that sausage gap, which you don't want to clip at all. Now it seems to be a fight between Saffron, Clone Richie, and Song Jae. Really.
I think Ivory Lightning was actually giving Zaffron a bit of a taste of his own medicine on the out of Stowe. Ivory Lightning was on the outside of Zaffron. Zaffron came quite away from the apex and gave Ivory Lightning a little nudge there. Then obviously we saw a little bit of subsequent contact as they went down into club. I think after that little bit of contact at Stowe, Ivory Lightning wasn't having any of it and decided it's time to get his elbows up.
Yeah, I think that might have something to do with Ivory Lightning, who's just picked up a 3-second time penalty. He's looked like he's kept a pretty clean race so far. So maybe just getting pushed out wide and picking up one warning too many.
He picked up that final warning jumping the left-hander at club. So, if Zaffron's feeling particularly malicious, he might choose to take that to the stewards later. But I'll be honest, I think with the contact that there was earlier on in the lap, as we see Clone Richie pick up a time penalty for cutting one of the
Zaffron another one
through Maggots and Beckett's. But yeah, it was an interesting move, but I think it was all fair on the balance of things. But we'll see what Zaffron has to say after.
Ivory Lightning not being able to break away just yet, but Zaffron, I saw the ERS indicator on the back of his car start to go. So, and Clone Richie as well, very low on ERS. So I don't think that they'll have quite the amount of energy they want to get past Ivory Lightning. I think Clone Richie at this point is just going to be saying, right, Ivory, off into the distance you go. Let me get the easy move on Zaffron with the DRS, but ooh, he's carrying quite a bit more speed there through the first couple of corners. May have just looked for a move there. But
yeah, definitely.
I was about to say I was surprised that none of the soft runners in this little group didn't decide to pit, but then we saw Luck behind them going onto the mediums now, possibly looking to take advantage of this battle and to close up.
Perhaps just distracting each other just a bit. Maybe they're just having a bit too much fun, not thinking about it. Like I said, you can go to about lap 12, and as you pointed out earlier, the wear that they had from qualifying is gone. They've gone into brand new tires because they had to re-lobby. So just being able to stretch the stint just a little bit longer. Trickfoot 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. One of the slowest pit lanes on the calendar, so not too surprising.
And Zaffron with another 3-second time penalty. The House of... Oh, okay.
Go for the save.
That was
right across the
quite a move. Okay. That was actually quite a solid move if he didn't get a warning, or if they didn't get a warning there. And they are having the DRS as well, so they can just pull ahead. But no ERS, so Clone Richie going for the inside in Stowe, taking a bit too much grip. Then, then Ivory Lightning going back to at Clone Richie. Not tapping the back of Zaffron, but then prevailing in the end, Ivory Lightning. Oh, and as we see, spin by Clone Richie.
Richie could have had two positions there, and that would have been a great move for him. But Sung Jae peeling off into the pits to go into the mediums, seeing all this fighting up ahead, fancying maybe, you know what, I'm going to go in early, get some heat in my tires, and maybe get ahead of all these guys. So we see Idle Wanderlust having a bit of a spin out of left field.
Also, quite an interesting thing. I don't believe Sung Jae has a time penalty yet. So, they're probably going to get the undercut on Zaffron and Ivory Lightning. Oh, okay, 5-second.
They picked up into the pit lane.
Yeah. I was about to say that they can just play it really, really safe, get like P2 essentially if they just drive a really clean race. But that 5-second penalty is going to throw a spanner into that. And maybe they will get the undercut right there. Zaffron with no ERS whatsoever. Probably going to get overtaken by Ivory Lightning on this ERS straight. Ivory Lightning quite a bit conservative on the ERS as well. Just sitting there waiting for their time to strike. As we have the Hockey Rocks retired from the race. Turn 1 maybe had a bit of too much steering angle. That might be a safety car.
It's the same place they lost in qualifying and ending up at the back of the pack. DNFing here, but I think they might just get away with no safety car here.
Zaffron also with a 5-second time penalty right now for speeding into the pits.
Gonna be careful he doesn't get disqualified from so much time penalties.
Meanwhile, just to give him an honourable mention, Ruprath's up front and he's just
he's
plugging the laps in. He put in his fastest lap on lap 10. A little bit slower on lap 11, but there's no sign of his pace waning. He can just wait for everyone else to box before he does.
Just walking away with it. Just absolutely walking away with it. Seeing a lot of pit lane speeding time penalties. Tenfan also getting a speeding penalty there.
This track has one of the lowest speed limits on the calendar, I believe, so might just be catching a few of those drivers out, used to braking a certain distance before the line, not used to it, and then suddenly they realise, oh, there's my penalty.
Also luck with a 1:30.4 fastest lap at the moment. Yeah, we are seeing quite a lot of time penalties rolling in from probably like Cops, Maggots and Beckets, as we see Songjay going for the move on those bit of older medium tires compared to Zephyr, as Zephyr is trying to come back at them into Luffield, going for that outside, going to be a bit more momentum coming out of the corner. It's going to be interesting to see that they are not going to pull alongside, okay. Or maybe...
Yeah, Zephyr's been having some... doesn't leave the space, doesn't go for it. Zephyr's been having some very, very just inventive and flashy overtakes, as we saw a couple laps ago through Maggots and Beckett's. And there again, just pulling the old switcheroo.
He'll be happy that time he managed to keep it on the track as he went through the corner. He's come off a couple of times there, and if he had that time...
Oh, Songjay also... with the ERS going for a late move into Stowe, putting Zafran a bit off, but not enough for the move.
Songjay looks like they have a bit more pace at this stage in the race. I say that. Losing a bit of time there with just some understeer. Zafran able to get on the power so much earlier and pull out about 5/10 of a second through that last corner alone. Big battles just everywhere you look. There's just people spinning, people battling, people getting penalties. Except for Ruprath.
He's on 2 warnings, but I think he's just playing it safe now.
There was a really close one between Dark and one of the Aston Martins right there, rejoining from, or like having a really, really slow Luffield section. I was Swat Jiggles, by the way, having a really, really slow section right there. Also deploying ERS to get that DRS from the cars in front, so that they can maybe latch onto that pace of the front runners a bit. Clone Richie going a bit off track right there, a bit of a naughty extending of track limits there. And Dark, the Clone Richie may just come back because of the outside line having more momentum. And Dark just trying to fake Clone Richie into a mistake. Coming out of the last corner now, very important to not bog down on the acceleration right there. Maybe going for a move into turn 1. Clone Richie, as you see, the ERS light flashing, no ERS whatsoever. Same with with Dark, having a bit more ERS, but also close to have the ERS light flashing.
Going on to that Wellington straight now. I think Dark might just be a bit too far behind at this stage to go for the move. But Ivory Lightning has lost out to Zafran and Songjay after having pit. So having that battle continuing up front hasn't been too good for him.
Also, again, honorable mention to Ruprath, just completely storming off at the front, putting a 25-second gap already after 14 laps to the person in second, without any penalties as well. So that is a really, really solid drive by them.
Yeah, I think we're going to be having to look out for Ruprath in Div 1 here pretty soon. Honestly, could be as soon as tomorrow.
Yep, definitely. With a bit more practice, you never know. One moment they might be Div 6, next moment they are replacing us in Div 1 right there. Ruprath. Ruprath is on softs right now.
Yeah, he is.
What tire did they start on?
I think 15. At this point, I think he's just showing off. He's still going on his original softs from the start.
Yeah, that might actually explain the 25 seconds. Yeah, they are still on the softs from the beginning, and they are pulling fastest laps right now, right here, which is quite insane to see because true, the tires don't have that much degradation, but the softs are 14 or 15 laps old. They are obviously not going to be as fast as the new tires that they got on at the beginning, right?
Yeah. But burning off fuel around here does make quite a difference to your lap time. So might just the amount of fuel that he's burning off might just be equaling the amount of tire wear he's getting each lap. but I think Clone Richie has just put a move on Dark going through left field. But,
Dark also deploying a bit of ERS, maybe trying to come back into Cops.
Trying to put Clone Richie on the inside there, not putting Clone Richie off at all, just taking the racing line.
Yeah, Red Bull and Mercedes doesn't go well to Cops. Maybe Dark has thought better of it right here. But it's easy pickings right now on that DRS zone. It should be easy pickings for Dark.
Too much curve on the inside, a bit of a slide. But it's right, he's just going to get it.
Pretty easy move right here. Unless Clone Richie goes for the mega long. Oh, he tries to go for a switchback maybe? Never mind.
Tried it. Dark parks it on the apex, and Clone Richie's had enough of these medium tires. Gonna swap him out for some softs to go to the end, as Ruprath has also pit on this lap. Finally getting off those softs. So Clone Richie and Ruprath going for the same amount of distance. But Ruprath was on the soft tires.
We have a car off at turn 4, just cutting the infield a tiny bit. One of the Alfa Romeos, Mr. Hyde right there. Probably just having a bit too much throttle out of turn 3, which happens quite a lot. The traction out, in Sector 1 in general, is quite difficult to get down. So, yeah, you will probably see a lot more spins happening, maybe.
Yeah, so Jiggles another 3-second time penalty. Already in P14, having the best day, but 8 seconds of time penalties. Not gonna make too much of a difference. But Sungjae just still holding on to the back of Zafran. Doesn't need to make the move. They have an advantage of 9 seconds of time penalties. But they do have to watch out for Ivory Lightning. He only has 3 seconds behind. But for the first time this race, Ruprath is in P2. That's just because Dark has continued to run on their original medium tires. Something I'm shocked we haven't seen yet. We've only seen one retirement, but I've really been expecting an early safety car.
Definitely.
We haven't had one so far at all. Seen plenty of spins, but no safety cars. Sungjae's gonna go for the move here. Gonna take the impetus, take the DRS, and Zafran on single-digit ERS. Absolutely nothing to fight back with.
Especially without DRS, it's quite hard to defend your position with a person that is on DRS behind you. Dark going for the pits, going for those softs right now. As you said before, just them trying to hash it out on those mediums, or on those starting mediums. Maybe we can see a fast slap by them. Again, Sungjae, Zafran just needs to play the long game right now. They will probably not catch Ruprath. Ruprath is just completely storming away, I feel like. Zafran just needs to play the long game, just needs to regenerate ERS in the DRS window. Very easy to do on this track, kind of weirdly, since it's a power track. It shouldn't regenerate that fast, but oh well. This is a video game, so let's not be too iffy about it, I guess.
Yeah, it's more fun with more power.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You could look
at
it
being just a video game, guys. I've now got to jump to go and do my subbing into Div 5. Useful to go get some practice ahead of my Div 4 race tomorrow. So good job with the comms. Nice to talk with you both, and hopefully see you on the truck soon.
Yep, good luck, mate.
Godspeed.
Especially in Div 5. Good luck.
Cheers.
As we see Swajigels now involving themselves in the fight for P2 right there, giving Sungjae the DRS, which is quite beneficial to them, since they can also regenerate a bit of ERS for the fight that is about to come, as we see Ruprath with their first 3-second time penalty right there. And also a fastest lap. As we have Trickfoot, another Aston Martin, or not another Aston Martin, someone going off again in that turn 3, turn 4 complex. As I said earlier, it's very difficult to get the power down very easily there.
Oh, yeah. So Zafran's still holding on to the back of Sungjae. Seems like, it always seems like whoever's just following Sungjae, it always seems like whoever's following Zafran is just going to have the pace, just going to be able to walk away as Clone Richie steals that fastest lap with the soft tires. But every single time Zafran gets the position, takes away, they just wake up and just say, no, here's my pace. I'm going to try to get past you, but without ERS, it's going to be difficult. Someone having a good race so far is Luck. Up 7 positions so far, and currently stands to gain quite a lot from Zafran's 14 seconds of time penalties.
Yeah, and luck without any time penalties as well, which is quite big on this circuit, as you can see on the leaderboard right here on the timing sheet. Quite a lot of people getting those time penalties. We will probably see a bit more as we see Saffron getting really, really close to Songjae. Right there, maybe going for the move, but the most important thing Saffron needs to do, they need to conserve their ERS. Oh, Alwanda lost out of Cops retiring, so there you have your additional DNFs, I guess. Very easy to lose. Car. Yeah, it's a safety car. As we see Trickfoot getting a 3-second time penalty under the safety car. We might see some, kind of slowing down, and we have a drive-through penalty for Mr. Hyde for speeding under the safety car. So, haven't had a look at their time delta, maybe, or it maybe just bugged out. Can also happen in this wonderful game.
Yeah. Maybe also just not noticing the safety car coming out. Maybe they just have Jeff turned all the way off and not listening, but Ivory Lightning is going to go for the punchy strategy, coming in for the soft tires. I almost expected Look to come in. They had a bit of a delta behind to try and cover that. Clone Richie replacing softs for more softs and going back out, but that's painful for Mr. Hyde because he's going to have to wait for the safety car period to be over and then come in to serve that drive-through because you can't serve it under safety car.
Yeah, definitely. That is quite a kick in the teeth, I would say, for their race, since that's essentially going to drop them at the back of the field by quite a margin. Also, very easy to lose it in Cops. You're probably going to see it in higher divisions as well, just trying to push the limits a bit too much. So, a thing to definitely watch out for. As we have Trickfoot again with another penalty, this time for speeding in the pit lane. Just take it a bit easier, people, especially in the safety car. Oh, Saffron going off track as well, taking a bit naughty there.
Just weaving all over the track. He's been doing it all race. It's worked so far. Still P2 on track at least, but something I've noticed. Look, if Ruprath can't run away like they have done all race, which I suspect they will, but look, we mentioned it just before with no time penalties. And a P12 start could be on for a podium here. Probably it will be.
I believe they will at least get the podium if they keep it clean. Ruprath's aim is just to push ERS like hell the next 2 laps. If the car behind is still in the DRS, then they might as well just think, okay, I'm not going to press in ERS, I'm going to wait to be overtaken, then regenerate ERS and come back at the Saffron or Songjae or Luck, whoever is going to overtake them. Just going to wait and play that slightly shorter game now, since there's a safety car and essentially like a 5 or 4 lap sprint at the end right here.
Yes. So it'll be interesting to see. We see McLaren running around the outside trying to keep some heat into their tires. Batona, another pit lane speeding penalty under safety car.
As mentioned before, it's one of the slower pit lanes, so that might catch people off guard quite a lot. As we see Luck leaving more than 10 cars space between them and the next car in the safety car queue. Hopefully they don't do it in the actual safety car restart, because that can be quite shambolic.
Yeah. It's going to be a great weekend here for McLaren. 1-4 currently.
Yeah, and in the worst case, double podium. If Ruprath just darts away from the front and Luck just stays in that 3 or 5 second time zone or like time window that they need to be in for that P2 finish. So yeah, definitely a really, really good and solid weekend for McLaren. Could we have a look at the time penalties, please? Okay, so we have Saffron. Oh, Saffron is going to be really, really under pressure to try and get a bit of a gap to the cars behind. Everybody has sort of got the penalty, everybody except for Luck. So it's going to be very interesting to see where Saffron is going to end up. They've been driving really, really well, really good race, same as Songjae. But those time penalties that they've got in the beginning of the race might come back to bite them.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt. Picking up 14 seconds of time penalties. I wonder if there's a maximum amount of time the safety car could be out. If I'm thinking correctly, should have been in that lap, but because we have people hanging way off the back of it, it's still out.
I think it's a maximum of 3 or 4 laps, I would imagine. Like 3 laps, maybe checks if there's still some back markers just far away. And as we see, I believe Saffron just hitting Riprath on the safety car right there, coming into turn 2, turn 3. So that might actually give Luck a bit of a better position now, since Saffron has a 19-second penalty and Riprath, which completely sucks. We kind of jinxed McLaren right there. Completely sucks for them. Giving Riprath a 5-second penalty, which I frankly believe they don't deserve it, especially with how they've driven this whole race. So
probably get that reversed in the stewards room. I'd hope.
If there's no safety car after it, the game likes to throw a very, very late safety car, as we saw last week in this one, where it just was a super, super late safety car for the game's standards.
Right.
So it's going to be very interesting to see if Riprath can pull a bit of a gap between them and Luke and Song Jae especially.
Yeah. Well, if anybody in this division can do it, I think it's Riprath, as they've proved earlier in this race. I think it had a 15-second gap to Zaffron and Sung Jae.
Yep.
So I think they can just about manage a 3-second. And
especially with regenerating all of that ERS. Just only as we see the field kind of bunching up their safety cars in. So very important to heat the tires up, especially those that are running the mediums, and also not to be too close to the safety car. We've seen it in the previous season. There is, as we see Trickfoot and Latona going into hitting each other in the safety car, which you don't like to see, quite frankly. Riprath already going. That might
made the gap to the safety car. The safety car's past the pit entry, so I think he'll get away with it, and this will be a great restart for him.
Yeah, he's already pulled a second coming out of the... It's going to decrease because Saffron is using quite a lot of ERS. People might get caught out turn 1 because of the colder tires, so just have a watch out for that.
Yeah, Sung Jae not having a great restart so far. Already dropping a second and a half off the back of Zaffron, who is closing on Riprath, so maybe Zaffron doing a better job of keeping their tires warm. Sung Jae, not quite. I did see a shot of Sung Jae just going straight on down the straights, no weaving from them. But Trickfoot overtaking the lap switch jiggles there.
Yeah, also quite a big horror to be one of those lap cars in that safety car train if you don't have the opportunity to unlap yourselves. It just it's very scary that you don't want to involve yourself in any fights whatsoever and trying to stay clean.
Yeah, luckily I think this division has ghosting turned on, so...
Yep, they have.
But blue flag rules still apply because you still give people dirty air. Just want to get it out of their way.
Which Jiggles did right there.
Look might just have a bit of a chance with Slipstream and ERS, burning a lot of that ERS. Burning a battery. Not going to make it though.
A heavy load of ERS on that on the hanger straight, I believe it is. So very interesting. Song Jae is still around that 2-second gap to Zaffron. Zaffron still trying to hang in that DRS zone of Riprath. Riprath just pulling away over a second right now, putting a bit of ERS on the line as well as the gap increases right there. Look, going for the move for Song Jae. No, Song Jae lost it. Song Jae lost it in turn 1. Would be interesting to see how maybe they've used ERS. Maybe they just turned in a bit too much. But that's really going to suck for them. They've already also been driving a very good race. Sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. Mr. Hyde going into the pit, serving that drive-thru, I would assume. Still not last though, as we see Ivory Lightning on the back of the diffuser of Remo right now. Maybe going to shape up for a move into They hang her straight into Stowe corner right there. Let's see how they are going to take the Maggots, Beckets and Chapel corner complex. As you see, no lifts, then cutting a bit, not too much, then kind of being a little bit late on those last two steering inputs. But I don't think that they will be able to go for the move. They're closing down the gap. Clone Richie also closing down the gap to Dark right there, which might be... Oh, we have a sector 2. We have Mr. Hyde just spun out at Luffield right there without a front wing. So from bad goes worse. Ruprath with a 28.8 fastest lap, really putting that pace on. Saffron already 2.8 behind. Luck 2 seconds behind the first two people, or like 5 seconds to Ruprath. So they might be actually getting that win just by staying clean, just by having the discipline not to go wide somewhere. As we see, Ivory Light trying to force a move right there, which, quite frankly, with the way how the sausage curve works, is not really on.
Nah, didn't have the gap there and just dove straight into a closing wedge.
Yeah.
But I don't think they lost any positions from that. Sanjay has pulled into the pits and retired, called it a day. They're not going to get anything from this. Mr. Hyde limping back to the pits after already serving a drive-through penalty. Has to come in again. Wouldn't be surprised if he puts that retire from session button. But Ruprath pulling out that gap just as he did before. Luck staying well within that 19 or maybe even 22 seconds at this point that they need, as Mr. Hyde does retire from the session.
Yeah. Trickfoot just going a bit slightly too wide. Oh, we might see a move into Maggots, Beckets and Chapel. Oh, a nice move by Clone Richie. Holy moly. We saw, I believe it was Saffron as well, just putting one of those really, really nice moves into Maggots and Beckets, which is really nice to see. I wouldn't have believed that those would work in, or like that anybody would have like the guts to try something like that in this division. But really, really good to see to be proven wrong right here. As Stark gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting turn 1 a slight bit too much right there. Still also on those soft tires, just sitting behind Remon right here on those 13 lap mode medium tires, so they should theoretically still be a bit faster than the softs, but obviously
the DRS they just did.
Yeah.
Forgetting to activate it for the better part of the straight there, could have had a move.
Yeah, but again, it's lap 25 out of 26. You might just wait for the last straight on the last lap, which is probably going to be the safest overtake you're going to do, unless you fancy a bit of fighting with the car in front or the car behind, right?
Yeah.
Luck just how many seconds does Ruprath have? I think 8 seconds. Yeah, 8 seconds. So almost out of that time window to actually get P1. Luck right here. So they need to be pushing like they've never pushed before, basically like a time trial lap on that last lap. Switchigles having a bit of a spin out of Luffield. Very difficult corner to get the traction out of there as well. As we see also one of the Red Bulls, Vetona, winning it. But also a move by Dark maybe. Vetona just having those really cooked tires right there. As you see, Remon, that might have been off track. So we will probably see a Stewart's ticket, or someone needs to look at that most likely, but the fight between Remon and Dark is pretty feisty, as we can see right here.
Yeah, it is. If it was off track, the game apparently didn't think so, but what if that was just about on track? What a move. Just swooping around the outside. But
yeah, definitely, especially out of the last corner where your car's already sort of on edge, going side by side there, or like getting that speed differential to go for an outside move is quite big, to be honest.
Dark may have flipped the sausage curb on the inside, the first apex into the Vale chicane, maybe just got his car unsettled going through.
Yeah,
an opportunity, did Remon.
Then also good on them for keeping the car on track, because if you clip that sausage curb, you're going to lose car very, very easily. Ruprath also running out Stowe, coming into the Vale chicane right now. I believe they are just about going to. They pulled the 8-second gap right now to
Just
Luck.
barely.
So it's going to be interesting to see. Riprath wins it at the moment, but Zafran also coming across right now. Luck needs to have a really, really good exit, needs to cut a bit of the inside, but doesn't manage by 4/10 to get that move. Dark also finishing in front of Remon because of time penalties. Clone Ridge also going from, I think, 8th or 7th to 5th. Trickfoot coming across, then Tanfana also coming across into 9th. And Vetona and Swajigels are a bit far back, so they will most likely not gain any positions unless, as we see Vetona, I think from that shunt after Maggots, Beckets and Chapel having no front wing left, so they are just going to limp it home.
Bringing it home, Swajigels finishing P12, 1 lap down. But what a performance from Ruprath. 4 laps to go and just pulls out an 8-second gap. But brilliant 1-2 from McLaren. Up 10 positions from Look. Up 6 from Dark and up 7 from Remmons. So just keeping it clean and keeping it between the lines is how the top 4 managed to pull home their results.
Definitely. So as for driver of the day, I think I would put either of the first 4, most like Ruprath, since they've been just bolting it the last couple of laps, getting that gap between themselves and Luck, obviously, or Luke. And then also the fellow McLaren driver putting a 10-second position gain in that race just by staying clean, just by not getting into any of those controversial corner cuts. Very, very clean race by them. Dark and Ramon having a really nice fight. So what's your driver of the day, Booth?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Luck, because I'm just a big fan of people who are able to keep it clean, keep it going, and kind of reminds me of my performance last week in Australia. I started P14, managed to find my way to P4 just by keeping my nose clean, keeping out of trouble, and I just like a good performance like that, just a clean, quiet run through the field up into a very advantageous position. But I gotta run, because I'm pulling double duty. I got to go do Division 5. The race is about to start. So, Fraser, thank you for having me.
Yep,
Cookie, thank you for broadcasting. And see you boys around.
Yep. So, I guess I'll do my end message then. So, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully, next week, what track is it? Baku, with a very special format. One-shot qualifying into a 25% race, into a 50% race. Trying to be a bit more experimental right now with the sprint format, trying new things, seeing what works and doesn't work. So hopefully you will go and check in and maybe see the shambles of a street circuit of a very, very close, tight spaces. So thanks for having me, Cookie, as a sort of stand-in commentator right now. And hopefully we'll also watch next week's race. And you all have a good day, good night, or wherever you are. Hopefully, or the most important thing is you stay safe. So bye bye.